Hello everyone. Welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 13/1/2023. So in this session we will discuss about the certain aspects which are really important for us. So the first most important thing is about Prime Minister's speech. World is in crisis and it's not clear how long it will last, says Modi. So I just want to explain what he wants to talk here. Six. The most important aspect that we all need to understand here is first, the world is basically divided into two ways. One is your developed countries. So there are approximately some 37 developed countries when we talk with respect to UNFCCC. The you will be having some 5 to 8 developing countries, 5 to 8, and most of them are least developed countries. So let's say 140 plus countries are least developed countries. So we segregate them into three parts. Now when I talk about the developed countries, they are called as global north. These two together is called as global south. And Prime Minister is arguing that today, due to economic crisis, due to COVID, due to Russia-Ukraine war, these countries are suffering a lot. So the future will be decided by these countries. But the problem with these countries is they are all poor countries and they do not have any voice to say. No voice. So India wants to be the voice. And India indirectly is telling that China is not the voice for these people. It is India who can be the leader of 140 plus countries. So we should come together and work together. India should be considered as a leader of global south. And remember this, why should someone make us to be part of United Nations Security Council? It is because there is no representative of the developing countries. So if India is elected, then India will become the representative. This is what India is trying to tell them. Clear? So you should be aware about this. So you can write a point there. India is demanding India is demanding a seat in UN Security Council, permanent membership permanent membership on the basis that there is no country in the world which would represent the voice of developing countries. Full stop. Moreover, India is considered trustworthy by both developed and developing countries. So India can definitely act as a bridge. So India can definitely act as a bridge. So guys, next most important thing is about vegetable prices inflation. As vegetable prices fell, inflation also reduced. I want you to have a clear understanding of different terms, guys, like headline inflation, right? You should be clear about the terms like headline inflation, core inflation. Core inflation, which means headline inflation minus fuels, minus food. If you remove food and fuel, then you get headline inflation, like core inflation. So these aspects must be clear to you. Sinkhole appears on Brigade Road. See, guys, another issue starting already. Now in Bangalore, you have a place called Brigade Road. Fine. And this is the most happening road, guys. Now below this road, some construction activity is going on. So when construction activity goes on, soil will be loosened. As soil is loosened, holes are appearing on the roads. Over a period of time, it may collapse. It may lead to more accidents, bridges, everything may collapse. There's improper mindset, improper technology. The world is moving ahead with best technologies across the world. India is moving behind, without doing any scientific analysis, blindly, they give contracts, one after the other, different departments work differently, because of which we are facing the struggle. It's very, very important to have politics on the basis of these issues. Then everything changes. Then, guys, most of the news is about, what we call as reservations, caste. We are stuck here and people are dying due to lack of proper resources. After accident, after death, now they are trying to see how exactly the project is going on. So in between, no checks and policies are being made. Guys, we request, from the academy point of view, please become a good bureaucrats, efficient bureaucrats. There is always this difference, guys. When a system is filled with not just honest bureaucrats, but it must be filled with efficient bureaucrats, who understand the policies. Don't read these topics for exam. Read it to understand that you are going to change the lives of the people, and there some common sense is very, very important. Next, center puts Neela on the list of protected plants. See this. Now, when we talk about uh, Wildlife Protection Act 1972, earlier we had six schedules, guys, and the sixth one was about plants. But now they have made four schedules. First two are for animals, Third is for plants, and fourth is for organisms under sites. Now, when we are talking about the plants, Schedule 3 talks about it. Fine. Now, which is this? Neela Kurinji on the list of protected plants. And where is this present? Kallipara Hills at Santanpara in Idukki. Fine. Kallipara Hills at Santanpara in Idukki. Please note that it's very, very important. Idukki region, Kerala, Tamil Nadu area. Guys, entering a year of uncertainty. M.K. Narayan, who is former Director Intelligence Bureau, his articles makes more sense to us. He is trying to argue that in 1916 the world was not aware whether the escalations would lead to World War One. They were all of the opinion that it won't escalate to that level, but later it went to that level. Similarly, now also people are telling that it won't lead to Third World War, but there is a possibility that it may lead to Third World War. And clearly there are sides. US and Europe on one side, China, Russia on the other side. There is a lot of pacts going on between UK, Japan on one side, right? So US, Japan on one side, Australia, Japan on one side. Japan is telling we will increase our defense expenditure. Germany is telling we will increase our defense expenditure. India is increasing. All this clearly indicates that we are moving towards such an aspect. Fine. It is just a prediction, guys. That's why I'm not giving any notes, but it's a good article to read. You can see that once. Capital stalemate. Governance is the casualty in the conflict between CM and LG in Delhi. See, if governor and chief minister is an issue in Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Telangana region, lieutenant governor who has more power than the chief minister in Delhi is a different issue altogether. Now, recently MCD elections has happened. Now the mayor has to be elected, and for that election, there is a procedure. And AAP says LG is not following the procedure. LG says I am following the procedure and I am correct according to it, right? And the AAP says, like, LG should listen to us. LG says I'm more independent than you. So UPSC will not ask you conflict between them, but UPSC will ask you the roles of LG, governor, and all this. Peru in the peril. Yes, Peru is devastating. It's very simple, guys. In Peru, there was a leader who came to power by saying that I will help the poor, and he came to power. But he could not sustain for long. Then they told that they will remove him. When they were about to remove him, he was sent to jail. People who supported him started fighting. The other political party which came to power is also fighting. So people are fighting, politicians are fighting, entire country is fighting. So there is no stability in the country at all. Not required for GS, guys, but for PSIR optional, you must be aware about how democracy affects in developing countries. What is state in developing countries and what has happened. Yeah, when you talk about Huntington's case, where institutions are more developed, but the society is not yet developed, right? In such cases, and where societies are more developed and institutions are not developed, you will have issues like this. India has made marked progress in LAC infra development. Army chief. See, Army chief is arguing that India has constructed world's best infrastructure closer to our border areas in the last 5 years, and this will ensure that our army has an edge over anybody else. And this will help India to fight against China or any other country effectively. And they are talking about tunnels, Atal Tunnel, Shinkula Tunnel, Nemu Pandam Daricha Road, right? These are all the tunnels, guys. Just make a note, that's it. In Ladakh, Zojila Tunnel and the Z More Tunnel, Atal Tunnel, Shinkula, Nemu, Padam Daricha Road connects Ladakh from Jammu Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh. So guys, yesterday the Vice President had told that Supreme Court's words are not super and we need to focus on parliamentary sovereignty. So court is telling that parliament is sovereign, but Supreme Court has the right to review what the parliament is doing. So Supreme Court law is supreme even for the Supreme Court. So once a law is being made through Supreme Court, then it is abiding even to the Supreme Court to follow it. This is what it is trying to tell. See how beautiful it is quoted. Once a law is made by the Supreme Court, then even the Supreme Court has to be bound by it. And this is under Article 141. Article 141 of the Constitution mandates that a law declared by the Supreme Court is binding on all the courts, even the Supreme Court, right? But they say that Parliament has to be supreme. So for this, the Supreme Court's argument is like this. Supreme Court is telling that, see, I am not at all telling you, I am not at all telling you that I am supreme. Like, Parliament is supreme. But whenever Parliament does something, it should be reviewed. There should be a judicial review. We are not taking away the power of the Parliament. We are just trying to review what they are trying to do. So this Parliament calls it as judicial overreach. In your governance classes, they will have a debate on this. Parliament says it is judicial overreach, whereas court says it is judicial review. So that will be going on, guys. So in your governance, try to read them properly. Socialist stalwart dies Tripura Mota. Yes, Tripura elections, Karnataka elections, same aspects continues. Judiciary legislature should respect boundaries set by the constitution. Again, people will be talking. Joshimat, enough we have seen. Missing doctors. See guys, community health centers, especially with respect to rural health, we do not have proper specialists at all. India is facing huge problem with respect to this. Doctors at the local level. See, guys, it's a very interesting case here. In 2019, there were bomb blastings in Sri Lanka, and Indian government had given a hint to them that there is a possibility, but they didn't take it seriously. So the Supreme Court has told that even after Indian government telling that there is an issue, if you people have not taken any measures, then it is your duty to pay them back. Is Pakistan debt is increasing? You might have seen videos where, even though it's our enemy country, people there fighting, beating each other for food. Even for our enemy, food should not be a problem. That is what our culture teaches us, right? So, when you look at the common people there, like, dying out of hunger. A person at the age of 80, 85, standing in the queue, is dying because of lack of food. See the struggle the state is undergoing. Two countries became independent at the same time, guys. One took the path of peace, another one took the path of destruction. We followed democracy, they followed military. Money was spent on democracy in India, money was spent on military there. More money is spent to train terrorists, more money is spent to train software engineers. Economy developed in the country. We are fifth largest in the world. They are reaching to the bottom fifth in the world. This is the difference the two countries faced because of the visionary leaders we had, right? So we must be proud of our leaders who have ruled us right from independence till now. Yes, we underwent crisis, we had certain issues, we came back, and today we are growing ahead. So earlier, Nehruvian ideology was considered to be correct at that point of time. Later, it was proven to be wrong. We changed it, we adapted to the changes, and today we are one of the best in the world. So, with this note, uh, guys, test series is there still, guys. You can join now and write at least two tests, right? Two set of tests completely now, so that you get a clear understanding of how exactly you need to prepare. Thank you, guys.